Of the origin and evolution of life. Protobiogenesis. The origin of life on Earth is known as protobiogenesis. Growth, metabolism, energy transformation, responsiveness, reproduction, death. These are the some basic features and the characters of the living organism. The living matter shows attributes these characters. As far as the origin of life is considered, it has remained as enigma for intellectuals at all times, despite of advancement in various fields like biochemistry, astrobiology, geography, molecular biology, etc. The various scientists they have studied about this origin and evolution of life, and they have proposed the different theories related to that aspect. Let's see different theories related to the origin. First, theory of a spatial creation. This theory was proposed by Spanish monk Father Sudrez. This theory is based on all religious belief. This states that all living organisms are produced by supernatural power, means God. But this theory not accepted in word because it is unable to prove scientifically the origin of life on earth. It cannot explain by using any experiment. The next, cosmozoic theory or theory of panspermia. This theory was proposed by Richter in 1865. According to this theory, life on Earth came from a distant planet in the form of spores or microorganisms which called cosmozoa or panspermia. The panspermia are preserved inside meteorites, means a barren earth. NASA has reported fossils of bacteria like organisms on earth, a piece of materium. This theory is also not accepted because it also unable to prove the origin by experimental method, how the first life came in existence. Theory of spontaneous generation or theory of abiogenesis. It was proposed by Aristotle in 600 BC before Christian. According to this theory, life originated from non-living material spontaneously. Louis Pasteur disproved this theory and gave a scientific explanation that life originated from pre-existing life. This theory is also not accepted because they are unable to prove again the experimentally how the first life came in existence. Theory of biogenesis. Francisco Redi, Spallanzani, Louis Pasteur, these three famous scientists, they disprove the theory of biogenesis. Theory of biogenesis could not explain of a first life on earth but could satisfactorily explain the continuity of life. According to biogenesis, living organisms are always produced from pre-existing living forms by reproduction and not from non-living or lifeless matters. Chemical evolution of life, that is the self-assembly theory of origin of life. According to this theory, life originated on earth by combination of several chemicals through a constant chemical reaction over a long period of time. This theory is also called self-assembly theory of origin of life or biochemical origin of life. This theory was proposed by Haeckel. Later, it is developed by a Russian scientist Alexander I. Oparin, British biologist J.S.B. Haldeney. The process of chemical evolution, they shows the following steps. First, origin of Earth and its primitive atmosphere. In this, the origin of universe was explained by Big Bang theory of Geiger's Lemaitre. According to this theory, universe originated about 20 billion years ago by a single huge titanic explosion. As the universe expanded, the temperature decreased and various galaxies of solid object were formed. Milky Way is one such galaxy of which our solar system is a one small part. Earth is one of the planet of solar system which originated about 4.6 billion years ago. When formed, it was a rotating cloud of hot gases and the cosmic dust called nebula. The condensation and the cooling resulted in a stratification with the heavier elements like nickel and iron passing to the core and lighter one like helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, etc. Remaining on the surface, they formed the atmosphere of the earth. The primitive atmosphere of earth was quite different from the present one and it was one of the reducing type devoid of a free oxygen. In the second step, the formation of ammonia, water and methane takes place as the primitive atmosphere was very hot but slowly it get cool. Lighter elements start to react with each other. The early atmosphere was rich in hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen and sulfur, which hydrogen being more active, it reacted with the other elements to form chemicals on earth like methane, water, ammonia. Formation of a simple organic compound. As the temperature of earth decreases, slowly the condensation process start and water get formed. It also resulted in heavy rainfall and earth gradually get cooled. Rainwater get accumulated on land which leads to formation of river, lakes, seas, oceans. The atmosphere then did not contain ozone layer and the ultraviolet radiation directly reached towards the earth's surface. Under the influence of available energy sources such as ultraviolet rays, radiations, lightning and the volcanic activities, the early molecule of hydrocarbon, ammonia, methane and water underwent reactions like condensation, polymerization, oxidation, reduction. These reactions resulted in formation of simple molecules like monosaccharides, amino acid, purine, pyrimidine, fatty acid, glycerols, etc. All these simple organic molecules accumulated at the bottom of water bodies. Haldeney described these as a hot dilute soup or primitive broth. Now the formation of complex organic compound. The primitive broth was neutral and free from oxygen. Polymerization took place and simple organic molecule get aggregated to form a complex organic molecule like polysaccharide, fat, proteins, nucleosides, nucleotides. Polymerization of amino acid formed protoproteins, which later formed the proteins. Formation of protein molecule is a landmark for origin of life. Formation of nucleic acid. Nucleotides may have been formed by the reaction between phosphoric acid, sugar and nitrogen base which are made up of purines and pyrimidines. Number of nucleotides joined together to form nucleic acid which contain DNA and RNA. Nucleic acid acquired self-replicating ability which is a fundamental property of a living form. Formation of protobionts or pre-cells. Nucleic acid along with inorganic and organic molecule formed the first form of life called protobionts. Protobionts are the prebiotic chemical aggregates having some properties of a living system. Protobionts are formed due to coacervation, that is aggregation of organic molecule. The Oparin called them as a coacervate and Sidney Fox called proteinoids or microspheres. Coacervates are colloidal aggregation of hydrophobic proteins and lipids. Coacervates grew in size by taking up material from surrounding aqueous medium. As they grew, they become thermodynamically unstable and split into smaller units comparable to daughter cells of budding organisms. Microspheres are proteinoids formed from colloidal hydrophilic complexes surrounded by water molecules. These bodies may have outer double membrane like primitive cell. Diffusion and osmosis may have occurred across the membrane. They were more stable than coacervates. Coacervates and microspheres were non-living colloidal aggregation of lipids and proteinoids respectively. They had some basic property of a living cell such as growth and division. The colloidal aggregation turned into first primitive living system called eubionts or protocells and the formation of first cell. When RNA and DNA came in existence, that shows the origin of life or origin of living things, because the content of the DNA is get formed, that will be get started. They look like a bacteria and the viruses. They regulated various metabolic activities. The first cell was anaerobic, heterotrophic, and obtained energy by chemoheterotrophic process. Thank you.